Hey, I'm Katie, and welcome to my channel, To the Mountains I Go. This is my little introduction video. This is where you're going to get to know a little bit more about me and what I want this channel to be about, why I want to do what I'm doing, what I'm striking out to do, and a little bit of a backstory of what got me into this. So here we go. Okay, so by the name, To the Mountains I Go, you already get some idea that I'm into outdoor recreation. And yes, I am. You would guess that right. I live in the Pacific Northwest. I live in Washington. I've been here for about 17, almost 18 years, and I have just absolutely fallen in love with the mountains, with the ocean, even though I had oceans on the East Coast when I lived in Maryland. But like the mountains, the Pacific Northwest, oceans, the trails, I've just fallen in love with the ecosystem out here. It took me a while to fall in love with the rain. I'm not gonna lie about that one. But once I did, about a decade in, I even love the rain. And the funny thing is, it actually took me getting into hiking to start to love the rain. And that was a godsend. I'm glad that happened. But anyway, so I love the outdoors. And what I want this channel to be about is the outdoors. But that's too broad. I need to narrow that down. You guys need a little bit more of a specific niche about the outdoors. That and every other outdoor channel I have come across on YouTube is gear review. I will gladly give you my impression and my opinion on gear, but that's not what this channel is going to be about. So, as you can see behind me, this is my studio right here. And what this channel is going to be about is my adventure in learning how to paint the ecosystem of the Pacific Northwest. Let me give you a little tour around the studio / apartment / studio that's taking over my 2-bedroom apartment. Hang tight. All right, so the most important place I want to show you first is where I make my coffee. I mean, come on, can I get some applause and some coffee cups in the comment for like those of us that just love coffee? So I'm a bit of a coffee snob. I absolutely have to have it made just right. And even though I drink Starbucks, I tolerate it. It's not my preference. And these are just, this is a Pacific Northwest roast. I'm sorry, this is local to me. This is out of California, but it is still a good coffee. But okay, anyway, I'm a coffee snob. And I gotta give myself a little shout out. I actually made these labels. I painted them with coffee, okay? So there we go. There's one, there's the other one. There's my French press, my pour over, my gooseneck coffee water pot. Okay, I'm done. This is where I make my coffee. Let's move on. All right, so this is my standing desk studio place area number 1. And look, oh, what do I have up on my laptop here? The YouTube 1000 challenge that we just got finished doing. Yep, got that still on my laptop. But anyway, here's one standing station number 1. And you can see I've got some nice little like aesthetically pleasing decor up, and that painting in the middle there, I did not do that. Maybe another video I'll give you a little backstory on that one, but that one's not mine. The 2 on the side of the snow-covered tree areas, those are mine. So here's my other standing station. This is where the office and admin stuff gets taken care of. And as you can see, I got a sweet little view of the woods right out back door of my apartment here. So there we go. There's standing station number 2. Or studio number 2. Now, this whole place is a studio, let me just confess. So, and Heather, hey, here's my calendar. I'm starting to block some things out just so you get that shout out there. But let me move on to some of the artwork here. So, I am not new to art. This bird I painted probably about 12 years ago now. This is all acrylic, and you can see I do have some technique, some skill with painting. This is kind of a cool little acrylic on tissue paper. Believe it or not, all that green that you see in the background, that's all straight up tissue paper. Let me go show you a couple other pieces that I did when I was in high school a couple decades ago. All right, so here we have a painting of an okapi, really a cool creature that you find, I think they're from Australia, South America. I don't know, don't fault me on that one. Anyway, I did this one in high school, and then that girl sitting on the chair by a table reading a letter, yeah, I did that in high school too. So I don't show you all that to say, hey, look what I did, right? I want to give you a little bit of a backstory. Oh, hey, here's another one. Anyway, I just want to give you a little bit of a backstory because all that's leading up into what this channel is going to be about. So here we are back at my little standing studio station area. So what this channel is going to be about is my endeavor to, one, learn watercolor painting. That's going to be an adventure. And two, take my painting, my painting process on adventures in the great outdoors. I have always wanted to be able to take my painting and sit 3,000, 4,000, 5,000 feet up on a vista, looking at a mountain, looking at the rolling evergreen woods, forest, and just paint, enjoy the outdoors, enjoy a talent that God has given me, and so forth and so on. But I've got to learn how to do watercolor. Why watercolor, you might ask? Why not acrylic paint? Well, acrylic is not as versatile of a medium for you to take packing with you. That's one thing. Two, watercolor as itself as a medium is a fantastic medium to use for painting the ecosystem. Why? Because it's not as structured, it's not as fine lined. You can't get as like teeny tiny fine details with it. And you can't make things look as straight and even and rigid and fill in the blank with it. But that's what nature is. It is, as one YouTube creator who I follow, Shada Campbell, says, it's perfectly imperfect or imperfectly perfect. One of those two. But that's what nature is. It's loose. It has its curvy lines, and it's not uniformed one tree to the other, one ridge line to the other. And even as the seasons change, it looks so very different. So watercolor is perfect for that. And that's what I want to do. I want to learn how to paint watercolor. But watercolor and I aren't going to get along so well. I'm not going to lie about that one. And here's why. Because I need that structure. I need the picture. I need what I've created, what I've drawn to look supported and look like it's going to hold up. And the thing about watercolor, a main component about watercolor, is you purposely leave open space on the canvas to add to the picture that you are trying to create. And a huge structure thing in my brain that goes off is cover that space, use it, don't leave that there. And so the last few months, probably closer to like 5 or 6 months now that I've been learning watercolor, it has driven me absolutely insane. So this is going to be a challenge. Anyway, let me show you some of the things I've done and tell you how I got into this. It started about 5 to 6 months ago as probably more as a way of saying goodbye to coworkers who I'd spent 2.5 years working with after leaving a job that I was good at, but was no longer conducive to my health to stay there. So I actually hand painted a lot of my coworkers watercolor cards. And like, here's some examples, like watercolor pictures. Like I asked, hey, what's your favorite animal? And I painted some pictures for them. So these are some examples of them. So I painted these pictures knowing how to put color together, how to do some lines. Because like I said, I'm not new to painting. I've been doing this like for a long time, for a couple decades at the very least. But I got into doing watercolor because I wanted this. Like I wanted to do this for my coworkers. But then as the weeks went by of not having a job and being on unemployment and having depression pounding on my door to like get into my mind and ravage me, heart, soul, and brain, I said, no, I needed to keep going with some kind of therapy. So I kept going with the watercolor. And like I kept going with some other creative things too. Like you saw, like the Cricut station, I got into sticker making and doing digital creations on my iPad through Procreate. But watercolor, it keeps pulling my heart back. And I think that's because, like I said, there's a lot of, I think because it's a challenge, like it's a great big challenge for me who needs structure, who needs things put together, who needs things flowing smoothly and needs things articulated right. That's not watercolor. I don't know about any of you watercolor artists out there watching this video, but like, that's not watercolor. Like, you purposely sit down to watercolor because it's loose and free flowing and there's no reins to hold on to with it. Like, anyway, but anyway, so I kept going with the watercolor painting and I decided, like, something in my brain switched. What if I can make some money with this? What if I can sell my artwork and make money, like make a sustainable living? And I thought, okay, Katie, don't be silly. No one's gonna really want to buy your artwork to be hanging up on their wall. And some of you might, but I realized there's more ways to make money off of my artwork than just selling a framed piece so someone can hang on their wall. I could do journals. I could do watercolor painting books. Like, I've seen those. Those are out there. They're pretty cool. But I could do stuff like that. But I thought, I love the mountains. I want to stay in the Pacific Northwest. Katie, why not paint the Pacific Northwest? And so that's what I'm going to do. All right, so let me show you some examples of some of the things I've done already. And I think they look structured, but I'm sure a lot of you watercolor artists out there are going, there's no flow, there's no looseness to it. Maybe not. Anyway. So I want to paint the Pacific Northwest, okay? So that's what I'm going to set out to learn. And I'm also going to learn my ecosystem, the ecosystem I live in while I'm at it. So here we've got an Indian paintbrush. These are some stellar flowers to see, just orange, just a sea of orange mixed with green on an alpine meadow leading right up into a mountain around here. Oh, gosh, that's something to see. And a flower that grows right along with them is the lupin. I know, doesn't it look like it could be a beautiful flower? The painting doesn't do it justice. Go Google, once you're done with this video, go Google lupin, not Professor Lupin from Harry Potter, but go Google lupin of the Pacific Northwest. They're beautiful flowers. Alrighty, here's a little mountain, a little starry mountain, night sky scenery. This was fun to do. I think this was the one where I kind of excelled the most with newly founded skills. So, and then this was just one of the first ones I did of Rainier with sunsets and yeah. So I'm looking at it and I can see where I've got some progress I need to make. But this is going to be a challenge. And I want you guys to join me. So stay tuned, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, throw some comments in there, some resources and suggestions that you think I might benefit from, and stay tuned. Come along with me on this adventure while I go hiking and painting and live some kind of awesome childhood dream. So, over and out.